I'm Emma, I'm Bailey's mum. Bailey had a stroke when she was 3 years old. We'd actually got married on November the 20th and we flew out to one of the Canary Islands and we took Bailey and Mitchell, her brother. We'd only been there a couple of days and Bailey had said to me she wasn't feeling very well, mummy, and asked to be carried. So I picked her up and as we walked along the road I put her down the other side and she went she wouldn't stand, all her mouth dropped. So we actually rushed her to hospital. The doctors had done CCT scans but they said that there was nothing, they couldn't find anything on the scans. The English wasn't very good and all we wanted to do was get home. So we got emergency flights home and ended up in a local hospital who referred Bailey to Great Ormond Street. And she'd been in there a good few days and that's when we found out that she'd had a stroke which had affected her right side. We was all completely devastated. Never heard of a young child having a stroke before. Because when you think of strokes, you think of being in older people, so it was actually a real shock. She was in Great Ormond Street quite a while. They was carrying out loads of tests to try and find out why she'd had the stroke. We were given information on support groups, who we could contact. But at the time we had quite a lot of support from family and I think that was our main support network at the time. We just wanted to be around people who we knew, who I knew was looking after Mitchell at the time because we had Mitchell who was 5. We knew that he was in safe hands so we could just concentrate on both myself and Bailey's dad being there for Bailey. So that was her main support at the time. I think when Bailey had a stroke and we brought her home from hospital, she couldn't walk. It was like having a newborn baby again. She couldn't weight bear, she could hardly speak. And I remember when we brought her home, Mitchell, our son, who Bailey hadn't seen for a little while, he started building a camp and she was so overjoyed for seeing him that, he's going, Bailey, come on, let's do this, let's do it. So then she started moving on her bum and he's going, let's build a camp, blah, blah. And the next thing we knew was that she got up and started walking. It was a little bit all over the place. But me and Gary, my husband, we were so overjoyed because from seeing a 3-year-old with lovely curly hair who had just been beginning, to go and pick her own clothes and get herself dressed, to laying in a bed and basically I was having to carry her everywhere. It was really, really emotional. And you have all these images in your head because it was near Christmas and we'd bought her a bike, our first ever bike. And I remember walking into her bedroom and seeing the bike we'd bought her and thinking to myself, she's never ever going to ride that bike. And that's when I think it really, really hit me. And from there, with all the support, the physio, OT, we had a wonderful consultant at Basildon Hospital who, spoke to us and reassured us that there was a future for Bailey. And we just had to take each day as it comes. You have your good days, you have your bad days, and you've got to pick each other up. And I think that's what sort of pushed us forward, I think, just supporting one another and just, making sure that we also drummed into Bailey that because she's had a stroke, that don't stop you from doing anything. I think from me, it was about being positive. When Bailey had her stroke, which was 13 years ago, things have changed leaps and bounds now with support groups like Different Strokes, with medicine, with rehab, whereas Bailey did get that at the time, but it was a lot different then. I think it's just taking each day as it comes and talk as a family, you know, and if you need to cry, you need to cry, because it is very, very emotional, everything you go through. From Gary's point of view, from a man's point of view, I think he found it quite hard to speak about, because he didn't want to deal with the side of showing emotion. It was like, no, she's going to be okay. No, she's going to be fine, which he dealt with. But on the other aspect, I think, you know, you can bottle it, and then all of a sudden it just comes out. So I think you have to be positive and you have to talk, and you're going to have your good and your bad days.